know about Stop and Frisk?
It's a policy system based on quotas where the police are sent out to raise a certain number of quotas, supposedly to get their hands on like drugs and weapons, but they're not pulling. They only seem to be pulling out people from marginalized neighborhoods.
I know that it's a policy that's its intended purpose is to help feel people safer and to kind of like control the crime rate, but it's not exactly working out the way it's intended.
Have you ever been stopped and frisked?
No, I haven't.
And, have you ever been stopped and frisked?
No.
No, I have not.
I have not.
Once or twice. I wasn't dressed like this.
No, but if I did, I wouldn't have any qualms against it.
Have you ever been stopped and frisked?
Yes.
Have you ever been stopped and frisked?
Yes, very much, a lot.
Have you ever been stopped and frisked?
Sadly, I don't mean to laugh. It's just that as a black man, it's not uncommon to be stopped and frisked.
Have you ever been stopped and frisked?
Yes.
Would you mind sharing your experience?
Sure. The first time that I was stopped and frisked in New York, I was in high school. I believe this was my junior year.
Another one was when I was like 13, and I had a hoodie on, but I was walking down the street, and they told me I was I looked like a suspect, so they took me in for questioning, and I didn't know. I was real young at that time, so I went in the car, they handcuffed me and all that. It was horrible. See, I had a few altercations with police officers, you know, it was horrible.
Would you mind sharing your experience?
I was stopped and frisked with my daughter. I was getting off the bus, going home one night. It was late, probably about 12 o'clock. I had a 2-month-old baby girl with me. Just came home from a long day. They stopped and frisked me for no reason. They said I fit the description or something. They checked my baby bag. They went through my daughter's diapers, the wipe case. This is just getting ridiculous. Like, you know, it needs to stop.
I did a training here. I brought my friends from Bronx Defenders to do a Know Your Rights training for my youth who were having that same issue of getting stopped and frisked. And it was so funny because that night on my way home to Brooklyn, or the same night I had Bronx Defenders here doing a stop and frisk training, I was pulled over in my cab by cops.
I was riding my bike up the block near Bryant, and this cop car pulled up next to me. It was like all black tinted windows. Everything was black. The rims were black, lights were black. There was no, there's nothing on top of the car. So I didn't know at the time that it was a police car, but the car stopped next to me and he rolled his window down halfway and then he looked at me, but he didn't say anything. So I'm like, well, I don't want to die today. So I turned around on my bike as fast as I could, and I sped down the block. Now halfway down the block, going down the hill, they finally put the siren on top of the car and they turned it on. So like, oh, okay, cool, they're cops. You know, I'm not gonna die. I thought, you know, my biggest concern was, you know, death. So I got up, I actually flew off my bike and hit the wall, and I was like, all right, put my hands up immediately, and they stopped me and actually, oh, why did you run from me?
Hey, what's your name?
Ted Tahada. Why?
I guess around the age of 13, I realized that this is gonna be part of my reality as, you know, as a minority, because it started happening, you know, so often.
You know, I've been noticing you look very suspicious. Is there any reason for it?
Well, you're following me, so did I do something wrong?
Is there any reason why you're acting all nervous?
You keep on following me. Am I being detained?
I'm gonna have to check the bag.
Yada yada. I didn't believe it. I knew my rights. I was like, you need a warrant to check me, sir.
Just because I'm a person of color doesn't mean that I did something wrong. Stop intimidating people and labeling fear as a crime. I didn't do anything. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So the thing I think for people of brown and black skin, you know, you shouldn't be against it. If it's deterring crime and if you haven't got anything to, you know, if you're not doing crime, then even if you do get stopped and frisked, you shouldn't be bothered by it. Because if everybody adopts an attitude of that this is the good for the entire city, then it's going to benefit everyone.
And a car comes up, like it looked like an old rusty van, and when I turned my back to go inside my premises or whatever, 3 cops hopped out of the car, but I didn't know they were police. They said they were looking for a firearm, but there wasn't any firearm. And then when I got to the station, they said that it was a robbery. And it wasn't a robbery because I lived in the house.
You know what? You acting like that makes me think there's something in that bag.
What are you talking about?
The way you keep looking back, ever since you got off the train, you keep looking back at me like that.
You're following me. Sorry.
You know what? Give me the bag.
No. Is there?
Give me the fucking bag. Up against the wall. Right now, up against the wall.
No.
They ultimately said that I resisted arrest, which I did. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't. I did only because I didn't know they were police officers, and nobody told me that they were cops until my brother had his face on the floor. And there's nothing wrong with the law. I just think that it's not in favor of my race, you know what I mean? Like, everything is set up for me and, you know, people like me to be on the negative end of that. So that's how I feel about it.
What organizing is going on in your community against Stop and Frisk?
We found that a lot of youth actually don't know what their rights are when it comes to Stop and Frisk. So what we're trying to do is educate the youth to understand how to act during Stop and Frisk so that they don't get into more trouble than they initially are.
There's a mural right here that says your rights about Stop and Frisk, and like the fact that you can like film all police activities, you don't have to consent to search, stuff like that. So I believe the point has been advocating very heavily, obviously advocating very heavily against Stop and Frisk because we have a mural of it on our wall.
You guys are witnessing the organizing right now, so it's like part of what we're doing this summer is we're having a leadership project called Camp PowerPoint, and it's like bringing together all these righteous people, all these really good people, and like mentors together to work with youth 14 to 19 and above to really start to do things. So like shooting videos like this with Global Action Project and with Action and The Point and Beast Rhymes and Life, all of us coming together and doing having these kind of conversations and spreading this information. That's the organizing that's happening on a ground level, and I'm not doing it, you guys are.
Action stands for Activists Coming to Inform Our Neighborhood, and it's a group of teen activists who are learning about their community in a number of ways, usually with politics, and are trying to solve all the issues that are concerning our community.
Action!